It's Atlanta's #1 hip-hop station, Hot 107.9 at home for the Ricky Smiley Morning Show. Of course, you know it's your boy B-High. Radio shouting, man, and stepping in the building. I got an author, a lecturer, a director, filmmaker, Tariq Nasheed. What's good with it, homeboy?
I'm good, family. How you doing, man?
I mean, I'm feeling good, feeling great, man. I mean, let's get straight to it, though. Hidden Colors.
Yes, sir.
How did that come about? And what made you say, you know what? I need to put this information out here for my people.
You know, what made me want to do that, man, is just watching the plethora of shows that we see on the Discovery Channel, the History Channel, the American Movie Classic Channel. We see history nonstop on television, in movies, the movies 300, Alexander, but we never see our story. The black experience, it's like it don't even exist beyond slavery and civil rights. So I wanted to fill in that blank and tell the real story about our history from our perspective so that it can be told correctly.
That's right.
So that's the thing that brought it about.
What has been the reception to Hidden Colors ever since you started dropping them?
Man, when the Hidden Colors documentary first came out, we didn't know what the response was going to be. I remember being in the movie theater when it first came out, and I'm like in the back, like biting my nails. Like, this is going to sink or swim right now because we put a lot of money into it, which a lot of folks don't do. That's another thing, man. A lot of us, man, we don't put no money into black history. So this is why our story doesn't get told on a grand level. But I got the money together, put it out there. And when the movie came out, people just flipped out, man. They were just shocked that this information was out there. Now, a lot of us who are conscious, we knew about the John Henry Clarks, the Dr. Benz, and all that. But we live in a culture now where we need information fast. We live in the music video culture. But a lot of people don't want to read books these days. And that's a reality. That's a reality. So I put all the information that we've been learning from some of those great scholar warriors in bite-sized nuggets so that everybody can see it and grasp it and relate to it.
What made you get the cast of intellectuals that you got on there together? How did you go about picking the people to speak?
Man, I got a lot of folks that I admired. Like Frances Cress Welsing, that woman she's like an idol to me.
That's right.
Man, brother Phil Valentine, brother Booker T. Coleman, who's now Kaba Kamene. I got a great young brother, Umar Johnson. These are people that I watched and I studied and I admired, and I got them in the films, man, and I introduced a lot of these people to a brand new audience. Because some of these brothers and sisters, they stopped lecturing. Because they lectured during the 80s and the 90s, so they kind of retired. So I got a lot of them out of retirement, put them out there for a new audience, and now they're touring all over the country these days, brother.
Exactly.
Not just the country, all over the world.
During your time of doing your researching and, I mean, interviewing and stuff like that, what were some of the things that kind of shocked you when you were starting to uncover all of these hidden colors?
You know what, when I would travel a lot. That's another thing that made me want to do the film. When I would travel myself personally and go to different countries, I would see an African presence in certain places that I never knew we were there. I would go to places like Hawaii and see people who look like we look over here.
That's right.
I would go to parts of Asia and see people who look like us. And I would wonder, how come they don't show these people on TV? So that let me know that there was some type of conspiracy to hide this information, to hide this knowledge. And that made me want to dig deeper. And when we were doing the Hidden Colors film, a lot of our information is literally buried in museums around the world.
That's right.
People were very shocked that I would even ask for the information. Because in Hidden Colors, you notice we have thousands of images. That's the thing. We back up everything with images, documents, facts, and the whole nine. So we would go to museums and dig all this stuff up that was literally buried. That's why we call it Hidden Colors. And some of the stuff shocked me.
What was some of the resistance that you faced trying to get that information? Because I know people couldn't just be giving that stuff up willingly.
Man, they make you pay for it, I'll tell you that, man. They make you pay for it. Some of those pictures and paintings and stuff, they're like, okay, what do you need this for? What's this for? And we kind of downplayed it, like, this is like a student film. We kind of downplayed it a little bit, but they still made us come out the pocket for that information. Man, there are books out there. For example, I got some books from Harvard, some old history books that cost like $300-400 each, man.
That's right.
So the books that it's buried in, it's very expensive. So a lot of folks don't want to pay that money, but we went on and did it and got the information.
Now let's get to group economics.
Yes, sir.
You were talking about the financing of the film and stuff like that. I know you had to go through some group economics just to get that done.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. What we did, man, Kickstarter had just popped off. Because we did the first Hidden Colors. We started in 2010. It was released in 2011. Kickstarter just popped off. Not too many people knew what that was. I said, okay, I'm going to use this forum to get some of the money for this documentary. So we got half the money off Kickstarter. I funded the rest. And we just took off from there. And we continued to use the Kickstarter forum to raise the money, some of the money for the film, because it takes a lot of money to make a movie. People think that you just get a camera and point. Man, I'm out here filming now, flying a camera crew around the country and driving and traveling and hotels, and then you got to pay the people, then you got to pay for the images, and then you got to do reenactment scenes. That goes up, man. That's why movies are so expensive. So a lot of folks don't get that. But it pays off in the long run. I'm not complaining, because we need this information, man. This generation, nobody has taken the time to really think about what the next generation needs to learn. And this is why I did it, for the next generation, so they can get the information and run with it and build with it.
Now, when it comes to economics, as small business owners and entrepreneurs, that's one of the biggest issues, is trying to get that capital. Where can we as a people go and find that capital to get stuff off the ground?
We can find it in our own pockets, because we have it, brother. I was talking to brother Dennis Kimbrough.
That's right.
He's going to be in Hidden Colors 4. That brother is a beast with the information. Because when we do these movies, we not only show history, we show solutions, and we talk about the economic solution. So we were talking today about how we spend trillions of dollars collectively as black folks. The way we spend more money than certain countries, entire countries, the black population in America. So all we have to do is aggregate the money and start spending it on each other, and that's the answer. Our thing is, we got the turn up mentality. You can turn up every now and then, but let's handle our business, then turn up. Let's get a business going, then turn up. If we can raise all the money to go down to All-Star Weekend and Black Bike
Week.
In
Atlanta right now, the strip club.
Man, all that strip club money, it could be all types of businesses on Peachtree with black faces inside of them. So we have the money, but we have to stop tricking it off all the time.
You ain't lying.
You know, trick it off when you build something. I ain't knocking your trick bill. Just build something, then trick it off. Don't do it in reverse.
Exactly. Question, how do we get our people to understand and really digest the knowledge that you're putting out here? Because a lot of stuff, it goes over people's head. Even though you put it really in black and white, and there's no excuse for them not to understand it after they watch the documentaries and stuff like that. But how do we get the average brother that doesn't have a clue at all of what's going on to say, you know what, this film or this information is going to make me start a business and change my life and do better about my family and things like that?
And the thing is, what we do, we need enough people to say that, because then that's what's happening. When enough of us start doing something, it'll be a trickle-down effect. The ball will get rolling. Remember, man, any revolution, man, everybody wasn't down with revolutions. When you look at Haiti, all the Haitians were not down with the revolution, but once those brothers and sisters like Toussaint Louverture, Boukman, and Dessalines, when they got the ball rolling, everybody else got on board. In the civil rights movement, man, most black folks were not down with the civil rights movement. There's a real big myth. They holler now. They're like, oh, I marched with Dr. Martin Luther King. I was in Selma. Everybody was in Selma. Now.
My grandfather is a preacher, and he was in it back then too. And he was like, B, I had 4 kids. He said, I couldn't go to jail. He said, I remember watching Dr. King catch hell trying to get his own people to support him and get the movement off the ground. So he was like, I had to respect him and his father, because they were able to galvanize a whole culture to go out there and make a change for our people. Now, in Hidden Colors 2, you said there was a war being waged on people of color.
Yes, indeed.
Could you expound upon that for me?
Man, what we can see right now, man, when you see all these brothers and sisters out here getting beaten and killed by police officers, that's not a coincidence, bro. That's not a coincidence, and it's not fear. That's another thing. This whole nonsense about cops being afraid of black folks. Man, did you see when they shot Walter Scott? That cop wasn't afraid. That cop calmly looked over his shoulder and blew that brother away. That's not fear. That's warfare. And we have to look at it like that. That's what we're talking about Hidden Colors for. This is a war that's going on. And we have to look at it that way and start thinking that way, and get our money together to protect ourselves, because that's what we can do now economically, is protect ourselves.
Now, what do you think about the jail system? I got a partner right now during Hurricane Katrina. He was a business owner and everything else. Once again, the floods came, went to the gas station with his family trying to survive, because, you know, all chaos and hell had broken loose. Got into a situation with the police. Now he's serving 35 years. Jamil Joyner Willis, for attempted murder on a police officer. No fingerprints on the gun. The officer that was originally shot said he didn't know who shot him. But he's in jail right now. And he was an upstanding brother in the community before Katrina hit. So what do we do for our brothers that's locked down, and how do we prevent that from happening? And the ones that are in there, how do we help them to get out?
That goes back to economics. The reason why we're being targeted, because we are economically weak and we're vulnerable, and we do not aggregate our money, and they're going to target the weakest people.
Mm-hmm.
The jail system is a money-making endeavor. Let's understand that. Man, the private prison system is big dollars, man. They got certain websites where the prison system, they advertise their services to compete with China. They're like, don't use Chinese labor, use our labor. You understand that? A lot of times when you call people on like AT&T or whatever, I'm just giving an example.
Yeah, I'm with you.
A lot of times those are prisoners. Those are not East Indian call centers. A lot of these call centers are in prison now, so they use prison labor for a lot of stuff. It's mandatory to work in prison. A lot of folks don't know that. When you go to jail, it's mandatory to work, or you go to solitary confinement. So the prison industry is real big, and we're getting targeted because we don't have businesses. We don't have an economic base to buy the politicians, because when you buy the politicians, you can buy the police unions. And these police unions are very powerful. We see up in Baltimore with the prosecutor, the strong sister warrior came out and filed those charges against the cops. The unions are going after that sister heavy. The same day the unions, because we always overlook the unions, they put out a press conference saying, hey, we're trying to get her out of office, so we got to use our money to get these unions in check, and we also need to get black police unions. I was doing a lecture telling people about that, the importance of black police unions that we can fund so they can police our community so we don't get targeted and shot every day.
What